try and just think like, who's even coming up with these numbers anyways? They're just numbers.
It's so true.
Right. Who am
So
I to
true.
judge? Who am I to judge, how much somebody makes or how much somebody gets, or like they're just, it's just like you said, an exchange of value. So well, I just thought it was good to touch on that, because I think a lot of people get tripped up with like, that people, it always comes back to your relationship with money, but why aren't you just happier? And then there's also the fear too, that if like when is enough enough? When is enough enough? And I think that is a good question. And I try not to overthink it a lot. I really just try and operate with, boundaries. I'm like, hey, when I work, I'm going to hit the gas as hard as possible. Right. And as long as I'm not sacrificing non-negotiables, and my wife's on board, and we're operating within time frames that we're going to be working anyways.
Yeah.
What's the difference? So I think that's also, I think, a fear people have, like, they'll get to a point, and I won't lie, like the more you're making, the more you go, the more you do want to keep seeing what's possible. I really do feel like, though, it's from a place of curiosity to see like how much further can we reach, because you start to realize like what's actually holding you back. It's, oh my man, if I was a better leader, if I had a clear vision, if I had better infrastructure, if I made better hires, then we'd be growing just by default. So it's not necessarily, it's not a greed thing. It's more of a just, we're improving, with the more you learn, the more you earn, the more you know, the more you grow. So it just comes with the territory.
I think a huge part of that, and we sort of mentioned it, is the concept of stewardship. Is if somebody is giving you something and you're not stewarding it well, they're probably not going to give something to you again. Right. It's like, I'm wearing my mom's sweater today, and she already texted me this morning and said, don't put that in the washer and dryer. I'm old school. I like to hand wash my stuff because it stays better longer. If I decided to do against her will and not treat it valuably, then she's not going to let me borrow again. So if you look at it from a way different perspective, from our God, the Father, and he's like, hey, I'm going to give you what you've been praying for because you've been working for it and you took the step out of the boat. But if you take your eyes off of me and you're not stewarding what it is that I've given you well, then there's going to be a component. There's going to be a cost to that. Yeah. Is that cost your marriage? I was there. That was a part of my testimony. I went all in. I was working 60, 80 hours a week at 2 CEO positions, right? And like wearing the title, the achievement mode, like I was doing the thing, American dream. And yet I was sacrificing what God gave me first. And that was my home. That was my kiddos. That was my husband. And I had to take a self-check, and it went rug without me. I was gone. All the dreams of the money and the ideas and the impact, it disappeared.